Hey everybody, Chris here. Could we be seeing a dead cat bounce here in early 2026 for Dogecoin and crypto? We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. We were live Sunday night. Yes, had a Sunday night live stream after the Patriots football game that the Pats won, going into the playoffs. Very excited about that. But we're here to talk about crypto and Dogecoin specifically because there is some good news about Dogecoin and one of the ETFs, one that we don't normally talk about, which is off to a great start. And there is maybe a little FOMO kind of peeking its way into the crypto market. Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Dogecoin, a bunch of other memes are up pretty big. So let's get into it. Let me show you the charts in the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here with the current Dogecoin chart. We're at 14.75 cents. That's right, 14.75. We could not hold 15 cents overnight. So we did have a pullback in Doge's price. But since coming down about 4:30 this morning, kind of evening out. So it's not a full retracement yet. We were looking at the live stream, or during the live stream on Sunday night, about this resistance line right here. It's the bottom of this red box that I've had at 15.4. We hit it 3 times, so that is strong resistance for Doge. And we zoom out and we can see the bigger picture here where Doge was down at the end of the year, New Year's Eve, down at 11.6. And then we've had this run up. And will it sustain, or is this a dead cat bounce? We'll talk about that in just a minute on what that looks like. Just to keep up with what Bitcoin's doing, Bitcoin did hit 93,000, now back to 92.8. It is following my prediction of a relief rally. And if you don't know what that is, come join the live stream. We'll be talking about it again on Monday. That's right, Monday at 4 o'clock p.m. East Coast time will be my next live stream. And we're going to talk about relief rallies more. But right now we want to zoom into dead cat bounce and what is going on in the most immediate. So one thing first though, I do have to call out 21 shares. The best performing ETF to start 2026 is the 21 shares TXXD ETF. And it's a 2X Dogecoin ETF. So it's like people aren't buying the regular like Grayscale and Bitwise ETFs. No! They want the leverage, the 2X ETF. So up 38% for ETFs. TXXD is the best performing ETF to date in 2026. So it's a little something. And of course, a shout out to 21 shares for that. But Crypto Rover says, look, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is neutral for the first time since October. That's right. We're neutral now. So out of the extreme fear, out of the fear, finally back to neutral. So all of the selling that happened through the second half of 2025, and particularly after the October 10th flash crash, which drove us all the way down to extreme fear, we are finally out of that gutter. So people are starting to think a little more positive about crypto right now, and not quite so fearful in our sentiment on crypto. Bitcoin is up for the first 5 days in 2026. This has only happened twice before. In 2014, Bitcoin actually ended the year down 58% despite a good start. In 2025, just last year, Bitcoin had 5 days. The first 5 days was up and ended the year down 6. So will this time be different? Well, different times, right? Every year has something different going on with it, so you can't really use that as anything. But Kevin Capital says, all right, everyone's vacations are over. The first real week of the year is now starting. These next 2 weeks are going to be revealing as to what type of strength, momentum, and money flows this market is working with, particularly in the crypto market. These indications will be a large determiner if any bounce has real legs or not. And this bounce is going to be like a full recovery as opposed to what the dead cat bounce is. We'll get into that. Just imagine if Bitcoin breaks 100,000 in the next few weeks. There's a lot of sidelined capital that will come piling back into the markets. A lot of people de-risked in Q4 of 2025. And once they realize the bull run ain't over, they'll FOMO back in. Remember, all it takes is a couple of green candles to flip the sentiment bullish. So that's kind of the feeling. But there's the relief rally, which is kind of the bigger thing, right, that I'm looking at. But in the short term, it's a dead cat bounce. And the trading analyst has this really long article about dissecting the dead cat bounce, the catalyst, interpreting all of that. And you guys just want to know, what does Chris mean? What is Chris? So you can read all this, right? The trading analyst, you can look it up, or you can just look at the diagram, right? We had the price of, let's say Dogecoin, we had the price of Dogecoin going up from April 2025, especially in July and September. September had got from 13 cents in April all the way up to 30 cents in September. And then we had October, we had the steep low, right? The big pullback, right to the end of the year. And now we have this recovery. Now this recovery, if it's slow-lived or short-lived, and then there's a big downtrend, that is the dead cat bounce. Of course, Pax cat, right? My cat, he doesn't like that, right? Don't say dead cat, right? That's not fair to cats. That'd be nice, but that's what it's called. So you can look it up, or you can go to like ChatGPT or Grok, and I'm sure you can ask Grok, and he'll give you a very lively analysis of what a dead cat bounce is. However, what do we got right now? Why is crypto surging? We've got XRP, Bitcoin, Doge, Ethereum going up 5th day in a row. The LMAX strategist Joel Kruger views the Q4 of 2025 pullback as a healthy reset. A healthy reset. Our portfolios didn't look very healthy, though. But that cleared the excess leverage. Man, so much. Billions and billions and billions of dollars of those long leverage trades out. And now we've been seeing the shorts getting taken out, these first 5 days of 2026. It's good to see some of those shorts get wiped out, too. Some are saying short squeeze, but I don't see that yet. Not quite to that level. However, the cleared excess leverage, improving market structure for a 2026 rally. So that is how we start the year 2026. But is the Dogecoin rally, is it a dead cat bounce? So with a 28% rally over the past 4 days, Dogecoin is back at a familiar decision point on higher time frames. And as we were looking, right, that this we're looking at for Doge up here at 15.4. That's that key resistance line that goes all the way back to early December, right? And that's the bottom of this red box, is 15.4. So I've been tracking that for quite a while now, and we will see whether we can move above that. But is this rally really a dead cat bounce? We got Matt Hughes, right? He tells us the 0.382 retracement at 13.8. That is what he is seeing as a support line. So typically he would say, well, we've got a pivot level, and we could bounce back off of that and then move higher. That would be the continuation. Just a few days ago, some people were bearish at this major support zone. And that demand area could come back and bounce up higher, which would help battle against the possible risk of going back to the 11 to 12 cent zone. And we don't want to see that, right? So on the lower time frames, Binance Future shows why dead cat bounce talk is tempting. Price ripped higher, tagged the prior range highs, right, 15.4. And then backed off. Exactly the kind of sequence that can either turn into a clean retest or an abrupt rollover. So, and there are other views on this as well. In the 14-cent region, Doge made a pretty incredible move after taking out the range highs. I think a little pullback makes sense. But overall, he thinks that this is looking strong. This is a Byzantine general. So, we can talk about open interest and where the leverage is. We'll be looking at heat maps again in the next live stream on Monday afternoon. We'll be checking that. And even Cantonese Cat is framing a more tactical rally can still work, but only if it respects the structure and reacts cleanly at resistance. Doge may be hitting resistance here soon. Let's see how it reacts there so far. And we could have this retrace to the 0.382 again. So again, we have these fib lines, which tend to hit sometimes. You know my views of fib lines overall in terms of prices, and you kind of make them say whatever you want them to say, depending on what points you choose. But that's a topic for another story. On the monthly view, current zone is a tight band between 1177, that's what we had, and 15.4. Again, there's this line, there's this 15.4 again, which is going to be that big resistance line at the 0.5. Useful reference points for where continuation would need to prove itself step by step. That leaves the dead cat bounce question mostly conditional. If Doge can keep weekly acceptance above 13.8, reclaim the nearby monthly of 15.4, the analyst share bias reads as consolidation before extension. So that's what we'll be looking for. Again, 13.8 would be support. We don't want to lose that. So that's what we have. That is the structure for Dogecoin. So we'll be watching that this week. We'll see how the Monday trading starts. We'll be following up on my next live stream. Let me know in the comments below, is this a dead cat bounce? Is this just a short-term thing and we're going to dump back into the brown box? Or is this a bigger rally that's happening and we're going to see that continuation of the rally throughout the week? Let me know in the comments below. Give the video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.